Hi, everyone. My name is Jeremy Dela Cruz, and on behalf of Next Niagara Council, I'd like to welcome you to How to Turn Your Side Hustle or Idea to a Profitable Business with Alyssa Milot. Alyssa is a marketing consultant and fractional CMO with a career history at Fortune 500 such as Nike and Walmart. She has hands-on experience growing up a startup from 500K to about a $300 million organization. She is also the co-founder of a social enterprise and online accelerator called Side Hustle to CEO, dedicated to helping young entrepreneurs turn their side hustle into a profitable business without wasting time and money. Over to you, Alyssa.
Hi guys, thanks Jeremy, I appreciate it. I always forget that this is a live stream on the website, so I'm not seeing other people, so I'm like staring at myself. So I'm going to pretend your little heads are all behind my screen and I can see you. I'm going to share a screen if that's okay, Savannah and Jeremy. Okay, hi guys. So today I want to give you some insights and tips. Hopefully those of us who are joining are, maybe you're looking to launch your career in a large organization, and that's awesome too. I think there'll be some insights here that will be helpful as well. But we're also going to predominantly touch on how to start a side hustle or how to become an entrepreneur if you have a baby idea or a budding inspiration, and to help kind of give you a little bit of insights and some food for thought to help that seed germinate. So to give you a bit of background of who I am, I won't spend long doing this. I have two businesses. I have a primary business called the Zen Strategy, where I operate as predominantly a marketing consultant. So I'm a fractional CMO. That's a part-time chief marketing officer, and a marketing consultant to B2B and service-based organizations. But when I was sort of launching this business, myself and my bestie were both launching businesses at the same time. And so we crafted our side hustle, which is literally called Side Hustle to CEO. And it's an online accelerator program that helps women turn their side hustle into a profitable business without wasting time or money or energy that none of us have to make it happen. So it includes learning modules, live online coaching with Francesca and myself, and a lot of networking opportunities in a Facebook community. To go to a little bit of background, I know Jeremy touched on it, but just to give you some reason to believe or believe that what I'm saying is somewhat logical and comes from a place of a bit of experience. I have sort of three stages to my career. I started, as mentioned, at Fortune 500. I came out of Queen's University, went to Nike, then I moved to Unilever, where I was in both the marketing and the sales teams, and then I jumped over to Walmart Canada and led their health and beauty division there. Then I jumped ship from the corporate world and joined a small startup and worked to grow that. It was a small video content production company. And then after having two babies and a pandemic falling upon us, I decided to branch out and do my own thing. And that's where the Zen Strategy, and as a result of, again, Francesca and I just connecting and sharing insights, birthed Side Hustle to CEO. So I'll get into a few sort of three things that I think hopefully those of you watching will be able to relate to. And these are kind of like indicators that, oh, maybe I do want to do this. Maybe I can start my own business. So the first is you have an amazing business idea, but maybe you feel a little paralyzed by what feels like a monstrous task of launching a business. And maybe you're not really sure what the next steps might be, or even how to start to get it off the ground. So we'll start to do a little bit of that pre-work today. But if you feel that way, you are very justified and not alone. Next is you keep pushing your business launch to the back burner. So you have an idea, but school got in the way. You have an idea, but family got in the way. You have an idea, but you're not really sure what to do. So you just like daydream about it. That's very common too. Next, you need some motivation and inspiration and maybe a bit of detailed direction to actually make that dream business come true. So today I'm going to share some of my tips on how to kind of get the ball rolling. So I'm going to highlight two moving forward, in addition to offering you some insights and things to take away, some of the common mistakes that a budding entrepreneur sometimes faces, and mine and Francesca's learnings from that experience. So this is sort of pulled from our Side Hustle CEO program. So this is just one piece of the larger part, but I think it's kind of what's really important to help you guys kind of figure out if this is for you, if this is what you want to do, and then start choosing what you want to do as next steps. So mistake number one is assuming that you are not experienced enough to start a business. I had never run a business before. I was a senior leader, a principal. One could argue, yes, kind of definitely helped run a business, but I didn't do it all by myself when I was at VMG, which is the last organization I was with. And so I didn't have experience. I had a large career, yeah, but I had never actually done this before. So I don't think that you have to necessarily have done anything else before starting a business, because in many cases, it's a learning experience, no matter where you are and what stage you are in life. So also the conditions are never going to be perfect. It's kind of like I have two little kids. It's like having a baby. Like there's never a perfect time to have a baby. There's never a perfect time to do anything. You just gotta, jump in the deep end and swim. So if you have an idea and it fills a need, then yeah, I think you're in a good position to maybe start a business. The other thing that gets us down is, and this little emoji, when it popped up on my Canva when I was building this deck, was just like, it's your little self-saboteur. And she's freaking out. He's freaking out. They're like, this is terrible. We can't do this. We're so scared. And as a result, you walk around with a snoopy cloud over your head, and your dreams are harder to make come true. So in addition to practical tips and suggestions, there's a lot of inner work that has to be done too, to make you feel confident and brave enough and stable enough to be thinking, no, I can do this, and to go out there in the world and start taking the baby steps to do so. So shut her down. The other piece is that there's lots of stuff in your life, right? It's hard to get a job, but it's even harder to start a business. That feels just insurmountable because you don't have enough experience. Maybe you don't have other people to help you. Maybe it's a money issue. Maybe you're lacking support. If you're older and more in my stage of life, there are errands and duties and family life and just life laundry is what I call it. So it's a matter of kind of accepting the life laundry and then building a plan outside of it that will help you feel confident and more motivated to start getting the ball rolling. So, and that's where coming up with a clear plan of action is really helpful. And I hope in the tips that I shared today, it will help you at least have a few notes to jot down of, okay, I can do A, B, and C tasks to help this move forward. So it's building a plan. It's not building a business plan. It's not what your 5-year plan is for the business. It's literally being like, what's my plan to get this little idea or my current side hustle up to the next level? So as a top line, and we'll get into this in more detail, there's lots of support out there. And this is just kind of a laundry list, to be honest, of the things that you could start tackling first. So yes, there are courses out there. There's a lot of free programs out there available to you, your local enterprise centers, whatever school programs you might have at your educational institution that you're at probably has lots of support there too. I will get into more detail about this, but information interviews are incredibly valuable. For those of you who might not be thinking of starting a business right away, but you are looking to get into the workforce or to do an apprenticeship or to do an internship or a co-op, having I call it a creative resume. And it's really important that you not diminish your value as a young person. There are tons of amazing things that you may have done that a future employer may see as hugely valuable and indicative of your character, your personality, your work ethic. So maybe you don't have any experience in the particular job that you're going for, but maybe you were on the rowing team. God damn, you woke up at 5 a.m. for like months on end. That shows to me dedication, team commitment, self-discipline. So putting things like that in your creative resume is hugely valuable. As an example, when I was at Queen's, I was an arts kid. I did not like calculus. I was like, nope, never going into commerce, can't do that, can't do calculus, not a thing. And I wanted to make films and I liked English. So I was like, I'm just gonna have fun and do arts. But then as I started to do internships and summer programs, I realized, I really love marketing. I really want to get into packaged goods companies. I really want to do branding. I really want to do all that fun stuff. And so I threw my resume in with all the B-commerce kids, literally these companies, Kraft, P&G, Unilever, Nike, HBC, were literally saying, we only want commerce kids. And I was like, no, I don't care. I have done tons of extracurriculars. I've done lots of cool stuff. I think I'll be interesting to them. And unsurprisingly, I got an interview at every big company I applied for. They're like, you're interesting. You made a documentary on Robbie Baker in your class? I was like, yeah, I did. A little more different than calculus, but yeah, it was fun and I did it and I was interesting and different. So don't diminish what you have done. Volunteer responsive opportunities, so gaining connections and experience through volunteering, huge, obviously. Taking a calculated risk in business, and I'll get into that in more detail too, is really important, and having a bit of a plan. So we'll talk a bit about that too. Second mistake, assuming you don't have to do your homework. And I know you guys are all probably very close to your homework years and you're like, oh, but I want to go to work and not have to do homework anymore. But when you're starting a business, there is always homework and certainly pre-work to be done when you're starting to get it up and alive and there in the world. So you can't predict the future and you don't know what you don't know. I appreciate that. But to some degree, there is some ability to define a calculated risk to figure out if your business is viable or not. And the whole point of starting a business is to make a profit. If you're starting a business and you're not making a profit, you have a hobby. And hobbies are cool. Hobbies are amazing. So fun. But like, it's not a business. So you need to make sure that you can make money with what you're doing and that there is a need for it. So I'll get to that in more detail too. The other thing to remember is that just because you have a business idea, and I don't want to diminish dreams here, but to some degree, it is not the field of dreams. Just because you build it does not mean they will come. And that is an old movie reference for you 20-something. So Google it if you feel inspired. But just because you made it doesn't mean there is a market for it or a need for it or someone to buy it. So that's okay, but just make sure you do your homework to ensure and have a certain level of confidence that you're solving a need state and that someone out there needs and wants this product or service. So how do you figure out who needs it? So here's a few suggestions in prodding and investigating who your target consumer or user might be. So define what are their goals, talk to them. Talk to anyone who you think might use or want your product or service. What are their problems? What are their fears? And through those conversations, uncover what impact your business could make on their lives. These people are inherently selfish. We don't buy things if there's nothing in it for us. So it's really important to think about your product or service as being what is the impact for them in experiencing this. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail because, again, as mentioned, I am not a math person whatsoever. And some of you may be BCom kids, maybe you've done marketing degrees. Great, then this is familiar territory. But most important is figuring out what it costs for you to produce this product or service. So this is my version of a P&L because it has pictures and that makes it so much better. And I hate math. So I'm going to cover it really quickly. But you can follow up with me later on if you have any more questions. So you have revenue coming in, and that is what people are paying you for your product or service. But there are costs associated with creating this product or service. The first one is variable costs. So those are materials, labor. Those are simple examples. So it costs you a certain amount to make a cookie because you're buying ingredients. It takes you a certain amount of time to make that cookie. So you're minusing that. What's remaining goes into your fixed costs. Maybe you have some costs that are set prices. Variable costs do change in price. So you may have an employee making your cookies that are really expensive, and you may want to hire someone cheaper. Maybe you get a deal on flour, and so all of a sudden your cookies cost a little less to make. But maybe flour prices go way up, and now your cookies cost a whole lot to make. So that's variable pricing or variable costs. Then we get into fixed costs. Those are things like your phone bill, if you have a home office. Those are things like your kitchen, your industrial kitchen that you're making the cookies in. You have a set rent price that you pay each month. So those are costs that don't usually fluctuate or change too much. When you minus your variable costs with your fixed costs from your revenue, you get your profit. So that is a very simple, very simplistic rundown of how you figure out if your business is somewhat viable, but important to start thinking about. And there's tons of online resources where you can dig deeper and get into the math and do a lot more work on that. Mistake number 3, assuming you are alone. You're not. You just need to find your people to help you and support you in this journey. So how do you do that? Most important is to find and join and build a community. And communities can live in all different places, as we'll get into. So here are some suggestions and ideas of communities or support that you can tap into as you start your entrepreneurial journey. So some that I think might serve you best. First and foremost, LinkedIn. If you are starting a business, if you are looking to get a job, it is very important that you have a LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile is your digital resume. Far more important than emailing out a PDF to anybody. It shows anyone, everyone very quickly and very easily what your work history and your experience is. So hugely valuable in general, more important than TikTok team for getting a job, I guarantee you. Clubhouse is a great place. Clubhouse and podcasts are fantastic. Clubhouse in particular is an awesome space to learn about whatever industry or market you're looking to reach out into or branch out into. Investigate that if you have not already. Podcast, huge. If you're looking to go into, again, look at my cookie example. You're looking to start a bakery, try to find podcasts in that space, cooking, I don't know, any kind of CPG, food, beverage, commodity kind of space. Research, learn, investigate about what's happening in the market from other professionals. Facebook professional groups, really great. I know Facebook's probably like what your mom or your grandma is on. I get it. But there are lots of professional groups in that space. So probably worth investigating. So community groups, professional groups, really helpful. Another thing that's amazing is Lunch Club, a professional platform, but there's space to talk about hobbies, interests, passions. It basically is like a professional online dating service. I'm not joking. You literally sign up with a profile and you can choose to pick a time when you want to be connected with someone to chat with. And the algorithm, the program will hook you up with someone to have a chat with for 45 minutes at that time slot that you specified. So if I say on Wednesday at 2:00, I want to chat with someone via Lunch Club, I have in my profile the kind of things I like to talk about, for me, B2B, service-based businesses, marketing, entrepreneurs. So that's my space. And I find it hooks me up with another person to talk to. And it's a networking chat. So we learn about what the other does. We share insights, we help to make connections for them. I literally built my business Zen strategy to a large degree by having amazing conversations with people on Lunch Club. They were professionals, they were experts, they were 10 years my senior with more experience, and I would say to them, hey, I'm thinking of becoming a fractional CMO. Is that crazy? Like, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm good at. And they helped me craft what my offer was and help me figure out what I'm good at and how to position it and how to set up my business. So highly recommend Lunch Club, but it is a place where you cannot, what's the word? Like, you got to come with your big kid pants on. You have to show up as a professional. You cannot flake on these meetings. You need to be responsive. It's up in the ante, but it's a really good practice for you to, as a business professional, someone either looking to get into a job or someone looking to start their own business, to get into that practice. Professional courses, amazing. Small business centers. Yes, I already talked about those. Yeah. Okay, information interviews, hugely valuable. And these could be through your parents' friends, your cousin, your neighbor. Doesn't matter how you get to them. You prod out there to anyone and everyone, tell them you're interested in starting something in this field, you're interested in branching out into this area. Who do they know who you can have a really respectful, valuable chat with? Who's willing to volunteer their time to give you some insights and advice? So for the most part, people love offering their time. They love offering insights. They love helping young people. So as long as you come to the table with an open mind, an open heart, open ears, people would love to share and offer insight with you. So a few things of how to go about doing that. You need to be responsive and take the lead. So they are busy people. It is your job to book that meeting. It is your job to connect with them via email. It is your job to show up on time, be present, be there, because they're spending their valuable time and energy to help you. Be appreciative, prepare questions in advance. So do a little research. What is their business? What is their job? What is their career history? Come to the table with really interesting things that you can ask them. But don't be nervous, because there's no dumb question. So you can come with the most silly question you possibly can think of, because you're new at this. You've never done it before, and they will not be surprised by that. So don't be nervous about your questions, but come to the table with some curiosity. Yeah, think about it in advance. Okay, those are the main things. Be authentic, be yourself. Again, it's not a sales pitch. You're not trying to sell them on your business. You're not trying to ask them for anything. Don't expect anything from them beyond the exchange of their insight and time for maybe you get them a coffee, which would be really nice. Or you just write them a nice thank you note at the end. Friends and family, utilize these guys. They are your biggest advocates. They are your lowest hanging fruit. They are the closest connection you have to start getting the word out about your new business and your aspirations. So one thing that I really like doing is when you are at that stage where you have something to sell, you're ready to go out there and find clients or customers, is putting together a friends and family PR package, I call it. But you're basically giving your friends and family information, assets, content, words, descriptions, paragraphs in an email, so that they can then share information about your business too. So they can become your marketing tools, your free, cheap, willing marketing tools. So there's a really great value in them, and don't forget about them. So you can, for example, give them 2 or 3 social posts. You can tag them, even in secret. Just say, hey, thanks, I tagged you. If you could share this, that would be amazing. A few short sentences describing your offer or the value of what you have to provide from a business or service or product, whatever that might be. So they have something to talk about. They don't have to make up stuff themselves. Give them stuff to say. It makes it easier for them to share. You can make a tagline if you want to help them easily remember and to easily share. Or you can fully write a post for them. And give them some, when I say assets, it's like make something on Canva, make a little picture of you or your business logo or a picture of your cookies, whatever they can have to hang on and share. I have family friends to this date who I love. Thank God for them. They're so sweet and wonderful. Every time I post something on Facebook from my business, they repost it, like guaranteed. Repost it. I'm just like, it's so amazing. Like, it's so amazing. So utilize those lovely, important people in your life. Okay, so that's me. I'm at 11, which is good. So I'm not eating into too much. I cannot see any comments. So I'll finish with a little bit on this slide, and then maybe, Jeremy, if there are any questions or notes in the chat, if you can see that, let me know. But so a few resources here for you to access if you want more of this stuff. So first, we have a free training video on our website. So if you go to sidehustleceo.com, which is the URL is actually sh, first part of side hustle, sh2ceo.com. So right there, feel free to throw it in your browser. We have a free training video, which kind of expands a lot on what I've been talking about here today that might be of interest to you. You can also find us on Instagram. Our handle is at sh2ceo. And also, once you get your LinkedIn profile set up, if you've not already, please find me. I would love to be connected. You can DM me anytime if you have questions, or doesn't matter. I'm that same person as I was describing. I would love to do info chats. I'm happy to offer insights wherever I can to young professionals, that's for sure, because I was that once, and I did all of these things that I'm sharing with you today, and it really helped me get into Nike. It really helped me launch my business now, years later. Okay, so that's me. Thanks, Jeremy.
No worries. If anyone does have any questions, please type in the chat, and I can relay it over to Alyssa. No, like I was just saying how that community piece was really, really key, especially in my line of work when I'm working with little small businesses, telling them, there are, guys that are are just about in the same stage as you, and use resources. Don't do it alone. There's so many people that, yeah, everyone thinks it's a competition, but I know, personally for that community here, in like downtown St. Catharines, they want to see growth. They want to see more young entrepreneurs grow and get more businesses, get people downtown. So go tap out, go ask around, and don't be afraid to step outside that box to discuss with people.
Yeah, for sure. There are lots of great enterprise centers. I know the YMCA, the YW, I think more the YMCA might be a better resource in Niagara. They've got amazing programs. St. Catharines Enterprise Center. Like there's so many great ones.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was at an event last week, just speaking with some great entrepreneurs, and just seeing that move forward and having a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement. It's great to see in the region.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But if anyone doesn't have any more questions, I'd just like to thank you for your time today, Alyssa. We really do appreciate it. For our attendees, we are going to take a little bit of a break. You can join us back at 11:30 and head to the breakout room tab to get your Zoom link for your next session. And it'll start right after the break around 11:30. So we'll see everybody then. And again, Alyssa, thank you very much for your time today.
Of course. Thanks, Jeremy. And thanks everyone for listening.
Bye, everybody.